Am I the a-hole for not letting my wife hijack a free vacation? One of my hobbies is entering raffles, sweepstakes, radio contests, etc. I've won tickets to concerts, sporting events, some household items, gift cards, but never a grand prize like a car or vacation. That was until last month when I won a free trip for 4 people to Florida for 5 nights. Obviously, I was super excited and told my wife about it right away. After our initial excitement wore off and we started talking about the details, it became apparent that we had conflicting ideas about this trip. Before I could even make suggestions about what I wanted my trip to be, my wife brought up how excited her 11-year-old daughter would be and how we could go to Disney World, SeaWorld, etc. Then she said that we can bring her mum with her to help watch her daughter so that we could have some time for ourselves. She was so excited about it and was getting wrapped up in planning things without even hearing what I wanted. I told her that all of that sounded like fun, but I was thinking that we could invite another couple and have it be an adult-only trip instead of bringing my stepdaughter and mother-in-law with me. She did not like my idea one bit and told me that she wouldn't feel right taking a free trip like that and leaving her daughter behind. She also said that her mum had never been to Florida and this would be a perfect opportunity for her to go there. We argued back and forth a little bit before deciding to take a break and come back to it later before telling anyone about it. Well, that lasted about 24 hours before my wife let it slip to her daughter that I had won a trip. So, of course, my stepdaughter immediately got excited about it and started looking into all the things that she wanted to do. I asked my wife why she told her daughter and she said it was an accident, but come on. It started a fight between us and emotions got a little high. I told her she was wrong to bring her daughter into this after we agreed to wait and that I never agreed to take stepdaughter or mother-in-law on this trip. I told her that I was the one who won the trip and she was acting like this was something specifically for her. She told me that I was being selfish and that we should include those closest to us in something like this, especially when neither my stepdaughter or my mother-in-law have ever been to Florida. She said that bringing another couple and leaving her daughter home would be cruel, especially now that she's so excited about it. I told her that her daughter is only excited about it because she decided to blab to her about it instead of waiting like we had agreed. I told her that if she wanted to bring her daughter and mother-in-law, then she can also pick someone else to go because I would rather stay home by myself than go on vacation where I don't get to be involved in any decisions. I said that if she wants to go down that route, she certainly can, but I'm not paying for any of it. Now she thinks I'm being a jerk and should be happy about having a free family trip. So, am I the a-hole for not letting my wife hijack a free vacation? If I'm being completely honest, I actually see both sides of the argument. It doesn't happen that often, but both of the people in this story are presenting what I think are pretty reasonable points. The OP in that it is their vacation that they've won, and they should have at least some say in how that vacation goes. And the wife in that I don't think it's entirely unreasonable that she would want to see that vacation used as a bit of a family trip. The reality is, it seems like they're at a bit of a stalemate, and no matter which way they go, somebody's going to be unhappy. Am I the a-hole for naming my son after my father instead of my father-in-law? I, a 26-year-old female, have recently had twins with my husband Harry, a 30-year-old male. I love my babies so much, but the labor was a nightmare. It was extremely traumatic for my husband and I, and we've agreed that we are definitely not having any more kids. I was laboring for 2 days, and throughout the process, we kept our families updated. When they were finally able to visit, my parents and my in-laws came to see us. Everyone was fussing over the babies and my poor husband, who only had about 4 hours sleep for the whole 2 days. My dad, however, sat by me first and just held my hand for a bit. When I told him to go get some cuddle time in with the twins, he said, "I'm here to see my baby," referring to me. It was honestly so sweet and I started tearing up. I didn't even realize how invisible I felt when my husband was sleeping and my dad was there to make sure I was also being taken care of. He took me down to the hospital cafe and we had breakfast together while the babies were with everybody else. I kept thinking about what my dad did for the next few days and I decided that I would give my newborn son my father's name as his middle name. My husband was totally on board with this. However, this is where the problem began. We knew my father-in-law would be pretty annoyed by this. He always wanted a grandson named after him, but it's pretty clear now that he won't get one. He has 2 sons, my husband and his younger brother. My brother-in-law is gay and currently says that he doesn't want to adopt kids in the future. My father-in-law is also one of those people who cares about bloodlines, so I don't think he'd want an adopted grandson named after him. My husband has a complicated relationship with his father, so he wasn't comfortable naming our son after him anyway, but we agreed to give them the same initials so they'd both be AHD. He accepted this, but when he found out we were switching the middle name for my father, he lost his mind. He said that that this was something he always wanted and that we were throwing it in his face by giving the baby my father's name as his middle name. I tried to explain why, but he cut me off and said that it was absurd to expect someone to check on me when there were babies that had just been born and my father shouldn't be rewarded for ignoring his grandchildren. I tried to explain that it was more than just that moment because my dad has been my best friend for my whole life, but he didn't want to hear it. My mother-in-law says we are a-holes for doing this because my dad doesn't care about his grandchildren being named after him, but my father-in-law has always wanted it. According to her, we are taking something away from him just because my dad chose to do something unusual, which to them was ignoring the babies until he was satisfied with me being okay. It's worth mentioning that he did not ignore the kids. He got plenty of cuddles in when we got back from breakfast. My dad is honored by our choice, but thinks we shouldn't have done it because of what it means to my father-in-law. Am I the a-hole? People might have differing opinions on this, and that's fine, but I don't get what makes the father-in-law think he's entitled to have this child named after him. I mean, this is a grown man basically throwing a tantrum because he's not getting his way. And I hate to break this to him, but it's generally the parents who name the kids, not the grandparents. I mean, seriously, a grown man throwing a tantrum because his grandkid wasn't named after him, and then you try and make the parents, these new parents, feel bad about it? I mean, what a great way to treat your kid. You're just cementing in their minds that they've made the right decision. Am I the a-hole for not inviting the neighbors to our daughter's birthday party and then awkwardly kicking them out? Yesterday was my daughter's 8th birthday party and we did a princess-themed party. The only people invited were family or family friends. My relationship with my neighbors is meh. We wave if we see them, but otherwise we don't talk to each other or anything like that. During my daughter's birthday party, held in our yard that is semi-fenced, I started to bring out the cupcakes for the kids. When handing them out, I noticed that 2 kids were definitely not invited because they weren't my nieces or nephews or from a family friend. I then realized that they were my neighbor's kids. I stopped handing out the cupcakes to ask why they were here, and one of the kids just shrugged and said, "My mummy said I could go." I told them it was inappropriate to just come here, and my husband escorted them back to their parents' house. All the neighbors' houses are decently spaced, so it's not necessarily dangerous, but we felt better if somebody walked with the kids. Later on, I think after we did the whole cake cutting, our neighbors approached again. This time it was both parents and the kids. I asked what they were doing and they looked confused, saying that they were joining the party. I was a little agitated now and sternly said that they were not invited and that this was a birthday party for my daughter and my family and family friends were invited only. It was awkward as they left and the kids keep whining as they did. Today, I got a handwritten letter in my mailbox about how I treated the neighbors rudely and it's expected to share community events. Was I too rude? Am I the a-hole? You know, I don't know in which scenario it could be possible that the OP is the a-hole, but let's just play devil's advocate and say that perhaps everybody should have been invited to the birthday party. Why is it that nobody else in their community, their neighborhood, decided that they would just rock up? Why is it only this particular neighbor that decided that they were entitled to go to their birthday party? I mean, heck, this almost falls more into entitled parents than am I the a-hole. You don't just rock up to somebody's house without an invitation when they're hosting an event. I don't know which world they're living in, but it's definitely not reality. That's going to wrap things up for another Am I the A-hole video. 2 days in a row, it's almost unheard of, but here we are. Let's see if we can make it 3 in a row. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and watched yesterday's video. I really appreciate it. If you happen to be new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Reddit content. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.